This presentation, Protecting and Preserving Black Spaces, Places, and Memories from Hazards and Disasters, is presented by Schuyler Carter and Jennifer Blanks, both doctoral students within the Department of Landscape Architecture and Urban Planning.
The origin stories and legacies of historically Black settlements are often undertold within the larger geographical narrative. These settlements remind some and introduce to others an expanded view of the African diaspora as well as the descendants living with the after effects. The Texas Freedom Colonies Project is one of the many initiatives doing significant work to highlight injustices and advocate for Black settlements who are fighting a triad of problems.
Formerly enslaved persons and descendants established Black settlements, towns, and communities such as Texas Freedom Colonies. At one time, more than 500 settlements existed in Texas alone. The Texas Freedom Colonies Project Atlas and Study is a digital humanities platform and survey which crowdsources maps and aggregates Freedom Colony place, heritage, and social geographic data. Currently, there is an inability to find many of these communities or their former locations on maps or in current census records, but they live on through memory, church anniversaries, oral histories, and family reunions.
Access, vulnerability, and visibility are within the triad of problems previously mentioned that plague Black settlements. These geographies often lack the access to resources such as water, electricity, flood recovery, and so on. Black spaces in Louisiana are regionally prone to be affected by environmental impacts from excessive oil extraction and natural disasters such as hurricanes and flooding.
Whereas Black settlements known as historic Black towns in Oklahoma are more likely to experience disasters such as flooding and tornadoes given their proximity within the corridor colloquially recognized as Tornado Alley. Natural disasters are not the only threat to the memory of Black space. Too often, the histories and archival information and cemetery management for a community is spearheaded by one person. The lineage of archives and cemetery caretakers is an important process to consider in the grand scheme of preservation in the Black community. As team members of the Texas Freedom Colonies Project, both Jennifer and Schuyler's research have been greatly informed by the project's underlying research purpose and methodology.
The two spaces that each of us examines, respectively, are archives and cemeteries as places urban planning needs to integrate more directly into research on African American resilience, disaster recovery, gentrification, historic preservation planning, and community building. As an urban planner, historian, and archivist, Schuyler has incorporated her experience to her current research related to Black placemaking. As a trained environmental scientist, Jennifer seeks to apply her skills such as geospatial technology and land surveying in preserving cemeteries as landscapes Black communities are entitled to maintain access to.
The role of personal archives and ephemera is necessary in understanding varied constructions of Black identity and sense of place. Oral histories are invaluable to preserving stories and legacies of Black space, as the histories of descendants of the African diaspora is often conveyed inadequately in traditional archival processes. Schuyler leverages new media to collect, secure, and analyze Afro-Indigeneity and community building history, not only in her academic research, but also via her community preservation platform, the Millennial Archivist. Schuyler creates easily digestible digital media content on new media platforms such as YouTube and Instagram.
Cemeteries are often the last remaining cultural landscapes that aid in the visibility of the place. Incorporating these settlements into museum curation, the heritage collected from Grassroots archives informs public history, and public history informs our thinking about place and rights to place. My research focuses on cemetery preservation, especially disaster planning and assessment in Texas Freedom Colonies and Louisiana cemeteries. Some of the unique threats many posed by planners and developers to African American cemeteries include suburban sprawl, highway development, negligent landowners who buy property in which the cemeteries rest in, and maintenance neglect due to lack of funding, resources, and the general knowledge of a cemetery's existence. Jennifer's platform, The Cemetery Sister, is a space for highlighting the importance of Black cemeteries. The goal of Cemetery Sister is to fill in the gaps of Black history through storytelling with featured stories of everyday Black people who have transitioned to the afterlife.
The overall urban planning field has long overlooked and disenfranchised Black spaces, and as a result, Black communities are still reeling from those previous decisions. The added layer of hazards and natural disasters magnifies their issues. Archives and cemeteries are places urban planning professionals need to integrate more directly into their research on the resilience of African American communities.